get in here. Play your spot for the brother next year. Let's go get a win. Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, win. Our tempo all game long, one play at a time.
Brees takes a gun snap, throw it back in the end zone. Touchdown!
Honestly, I've played the last 4 seasons in a row as if it was my last. So as I sit here right now, my approach is very much the same.
Drew Brees puts it right on the money.
And I'm going to crank up this tempo here in the second half, right? Our tempo.
Far side has a man. Caught. Touchdown, Traquan Smith. This Saints offense is making it look easy.
I didn't come back to play this season for myself. I came back for my team. I came back for the city. I came back for the organization.
Can't help but wonder, is this the final time that we're going to watch Drew do this?
Drew Brees walks away after 20 seasons in the NFL. So many of those spent down in New Orleans. We're talking about it right here on Good Morning Football, live from New York City. It is Monday, March 15th, hours away from letting the tampering begin. Right here as we officially ring the bell towards free agency, $182.5 million. That is the salary cap. That is what teams are working with this week to try to bolster their rosters for the 2021 season. We are all here live for 4 hours and very excited you are joining us. My name's Kay Adams, Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, all here, all ready to go for what's ahead. We don't know, breaking news. There's some big news last night. So let's start with our very own NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport. Ian, thank you. And happy Legal Tampering Day. Is that what we should call this? Yeah, it's a huge one. It's a huge week here in the NFL. Huge news last night. What is the latest on free agency and, of course, on Drew Brees and his retirement?
Well, first of all, here's what's going to happen the next couple of days. You have the anti-tampering window starts at about noon today. That means teams can finally talk to the agents of free agents to be. It's not like deals can be signed, but they can strike some deals. They can negotiate. They can agree to terms. So you're going to see a lot of deals happen basically starting afternoon today. A lot of the agents have been kind of chomping at the bit, trying to get to numbers, trying to get the teams to begin negotiating. And there is a big-time deal before free agency begins because of a player who is released, and that is Kevin Zeitler, the standout guard formerly of the New York Giants, of course, formerly of the Browns as well. He has agreed to terms, a deal that happened about 2 in the morning overnight, agreed to terms with the Baltimore Ravens on a 3-year, $22 million deal, gets $16 million fully guaranteed, so a massive deal for Zeitler and for the Baltimore Ravens. That has been a spot they have really tried to fill the last couple years, a big addition before free agency begins for them. And then, of course, the biggest news yesterday, Drew Brees officially announces his retirement. We really have known it is coming for more than a month. The New Orleans Saints have essentially moved on in their quarterback position. They have been targeting Jameis Winston as their starter for the 2021 season. No deal yet, but it is something that they hope gets done over the next couple days. It was really just a matter of Brees announcing his intentions. He did that yesterday with his family seated on a couch in a really cool Instagram photo, basically saying, Daddy is retiring to spend more time with us. So that is exactly what he is doing. Drew Brees, a Hall of Fame career, officially walks away for the New Orleans Saints, who now move on to a new era.
And they have to get that deal done with Jameis Winston. The year officially begins, of course, Wednesday, 4 p.m., but we will be here for that tampering period as news shakes. And we thank you for the update on Drew Brees, of course. Walter Payton Man of the Year winner. He has a ring. He has lots of records, and now he's retired. And that news, and we'll talk to you in a bit, Ian, it became official with his 4 kids, as Ian said yesterday on Instagram. Take a look.
15 years in the Saints and 20 years in the NFL. Our dad is finally gonna retire, so we can spend more time with us. Yay!
Love that all the kids were involved, Nate. He's got a lot going on for him. What is his living legacy after 20 seasons?
His living legacy is that he will retire one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. I say the second best quarterback to ever play the game, an absolute living legend, a surefire Hall of Famer. When you look at what he was doing on the field and also his leadership, game in and game out, I've always said it. He was one of those quarterbacks I wanted to play for. And it wasn't just the accuracy. It wasn't just how he had nerves of steel inside the pocket. When I was standing on the opposite sideline and I would watch Drew Brees talk to his teammates, I would get goosebumps. I was the opposition. So I always knew that he had this certain energy to him that was infectious. And then you just look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers really speak for themselves. And, you know, some will say towards the end of his career he was compiling You know what? I would say no. Absolutely not. Because every single year over the last few, when he was breaking these records, they were competing, and they were one of the best teams in the business. Every major statistical category outside of pass TDs, because Tom Brady is still playing, first and then second. So for me, he goes down as one of the greatest to ever play the game. After Tom Brady, the second best quarterback to ever play the game. You guys know I like to write. And I was just writing something about football in general and things that are meant to be. And it's a spoken word piece that I was working on. And then I wrote, you know, game time means dinner time. It's been a long marathon, but now he sees the finish line. He always competed. If he don't, then it's a wrap. He wanted all in his hands like Thanos with the snap, or more like Bane with his mask on. He was only there to tear up your turf until the grass is gone. So for me, Drew Brees was an absolute legend, and he did it right. Congratulations on a great career.
Second greatest quarterback of all time. Rare air, Nate. Let's go to the phones. We can talk about that one for the next 30 years. The biggest compliment to Drew Brees is there's so many ways to go with this. I think Drew Brees' legacy is that he has so many legacies. You can hit them all. The Super Bowl to New Orleans thing, the Man of the Year thing, the height thing, and he paved the way for Russell and Baker and Tua and Kyler. The statistical thing that you mentioned, the age thing. At age 40, Drew Brees went 29 of 30 in a game on Monday Night Football. It's unheard of. But for me, also a massive thing for any superhero, Nate, there's the origin story. Yeah. Drew Brees also has the overcoming the injury thing. Let's go back to San Diego. The San Diego Chargers, this could have been a wrap for Drew Brees. This is a long, long time ago. His last game in 05. The injury he suffered in the end zone, of course, trying to recover a fumble, this was cataclysmic. It is a 360-degree labrum tear with damage to his rotator cuff. Dr. James Andrews, who gets out of bed doing surgeries on athletes, said Brees' recovery was the most remarkable he had ever seen in his entire career. This is before the Drew Brees Saints. This is before Jimmy Graham. Walking off the field, done.
Kyle, week 17 before he's a free agent.
Enters free agency with the worst injury of all time, becomes the greatest free agent signing of all time in New Orleans. That's his walk-off. And then give me the 5,000-yard seasons. You talk about this. I feel like Brees ushered in this era of pure statistical anomalies. These are the 5,000-yard seasons. You got Marino had 1. Mahomes has 7. Drew Brees has 5. Just ding, 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 all over that Superdome year after year. And in his prime, Brees to Graham, one of the best combos we've ever seen. Yeah. As good in the red zone as Brady to Gronk, as Brady to anyone. In a fantasy draft, take Brees. You're set. You're making the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Every year he churned it out after the injury, at advanced age, shorter than he was supposed to be, overlooked in high school, overlooked in college. His legacy is that he has about 50 legacies, and he will be sorely, sorely missed.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Saints angle here, because you're right, Kyle. There's 5,000 ways we can take this, and we could just do a whole show on what he did to the quarterback position. Yeah. Now, we don't know if Tua gets a first-round pick if it's not for what Drew Brees has done over his career. But New Orleans itself, the Saints were a laughable franchise for much of their existence. For years and years and years, the Saints fans were known as the Aints, and they would wear the garbage bags over their heads to an empty Superdome. And they had some years where they were successful, and of course they went to the playoffs under Jim Mora, and they did some things. Brees gets there, they became a perennial contender. And the before Saints, Drew Brees, and the after Saints with Drew Brees is a completely two different franchises. To me, I think of the Super Bowl and what he did down in Miami going up against Peyton Manning. Two of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Drew Brees' story is the Cinderella one. Peyton Manning is the best quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts and one of the biggest Super Bowl upsets of all time. Based on the arm of Drew Brees, the defense of Tracy Porter, and the onside kick call of Sean Payton.